On behalf of Hospice of Southern Maine, I'd like to welcome you to the 19th Annual Memorial Service and Candlelighting Ceremony. Washington Irving wrote, "There is a sacredness in tears. They are not the mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 1,000 tongues. They are the messengers of overwhelming grief, of deep contrition, and of unspeakable love." Many tears are shed in the aftermath of loss. Grief, after all, involves continuing to love someone who's no longer physically present with us. That love doesn't end. As you know, grief is unique to everybody. Some will express their grief through tears, as Washington Irving suggests. Others find comfort in talking about their loved one or doing something to honor them. Regardless of how you express it, that grief can be deep and painful, and it's a testament to the love shared between you and your person. This afternoon, we hope to offer you a space to honor that love and to honor your grief. No matter where you are in your journey, we encourage you to be gentle with yourself and have some compassion for your grief. May you continue to speak your loved one's name out loud and share their life and stories with the world. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Taylor, a bereavement counselor at Hospice of Southern Maine. I'd like to share a poem by Maya Angelou titled "When Great Trees Fall." When great trees fall, rocks on distant hills shudder, lions hunker down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety. When great trees fall in forests, small things recoil into silence, their senses eroded beyond fear. When great souls die, the air around us becomes light, sterile, and rare. We breathe briefly. Our eyes briefly see with a hurtful clarity. Our memory suddenly sharpened examines, gnaws on kind words unsaid, promised walks never taken. Great souls die, and our reality, bound to them, takes leave of us. Our souls, dependent upon our nurture, now shrink, wizened. Our minds, formed and informed by their radiance, fall away. We are not so much maddened as reduced to the unutterable ignorance of dark, cold caves. And when great souls die, after a period, peace blooms, slow and always irregularly. Spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibration. Our senses restored, never to be the same, whisper to us. We can be and be better, for they existed. They existed. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Tom Musin, chaplain at Hospice of Southern Maine. I have met some of you through work at Gosnell House or in the home program, but most of you I have not, and yet it is such a privilege to be here with all of you as we gather today to remember those we have loved and see no more. Under normal circumstances, this would have been an in-person gathering, and up until the pandemic, that was the case, but here we are gathering on Zoom. But even on a day like today, under normal circumstances, if we had planned to gather, the storm might have interrupted our plans and we would have had to retreat to this Zoom gathering. But those of you who have experienced the loss of a loved one in the past year, you know what it means. You know deeply and profoundly what it means to be in a situation where it is no longer normal circumstances. And we find ourselves forced to adapt, to change, sometimes to grow and to reach out and be with one another. So it is good that we are all here with each other today, even in this way. In a few moments, we're going to be seeing the names of each of the persons that this agency has served in the last year and who died and whom you have cared for and loved. We know there is power in names. We know what it's like when someone mispronounces our name, and we have a need to correct them to ensure that they know how to say it the right way. If you've ever visited the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C., and seen people rubbing their fingers across a loved one's names or etching that name onto some paper, we know that names represent so much. Person's lives, person's loves. And sometimes in the midst of grief, people don't recognize that. I remember very early when I was a minister, I was new in town and I had met a colleague, another minister, and I had heard before I arrived that his wife had recently died. And we happened to encounter each other in a parking lot. I introduced myself, we spoke for a little bit, and I knew very well that his wife had died just a few months before. And yet I didn't say anything to him about that. I suppose I was waiting for him to bring up her name. And somehow I thought I was sparing him discomfort and perhaps pain by not mentioning her name. And I later realized what a mistake that was, as I've sometimes sat with families or in my own experience when a loved one in my life has died and people seem to want to move around and not name that name and remember that person. We have an opportunity to do that today together. Some of you may know at our hospice meetings once a week, teams gather to discuss how we can continue to support current patients and their families. But at those weekly meetings, at the beginning of each meeting, we take some time first to read the names of those who have died in the past week. And that's followed by some silence and then by some words. As we who have had the privilege to serve you, remember and speak and talk about the persons we have come to know and serve, and yes, to love. So as we move through this time together, in a few moments, there will be many names before us. And I hope that as you see the name of your loved one, you will say it aloud there in your home, perhaps with others who are gathered with you in that room. And then if you have been able to have a candle in front of you when it comes to the time of lighting that candle, to say his name again, to say her name again, and to know that we can continue in our lives to remember and honor and keep in our lives the people who have died, yet who are still very much a part of our lives, and who will be, as long as we can utter their names with remembrance, with respect, with grief, and yet with abounding love. So now let us see and speak those names.
counselor here at Hospice of Southern Maine. Now we will begin the candle lighting ceremony in honor of your loved ones. The first candle represents our grief. The pain of losing you is intense. It reminds us of the depth of our love for you. This second candle represents our courage. The courage to confront our sorrow, to comfort each other, to change our lives. This third candle we light in your memory, for the times we laughed, the times we cried, the times we were angry with each other, the funny things you did, the caring and joy you gave us. This fourth candle we light for our love. We light this candle so that your light will always shine. We think of you each day and share your memory with our friends and family. We cherish the special place in our hearts that will always be reserved for you. We thank you for the gift your living brought to each of us. We love you. We remember you.
Thank you all again for being with us today. We have seen and spoken names. We have lit candles. We have seen these remembrances, and other untold memories I know have come forward as we have been together in this way. So thank you. And your presence today has enriched each person here, even though we could not be with one another in person. And so now remember that life is short, and we do not have much time to gladden the hearts of those who make the journey with us. So be swift to love, make haste to be kind, and may peace, that peace that comforts you in your grief, the peace that strengthens you in your courage, the peace that helps you to hold your memories, and the peace that will let your love and your light shine be yours today and always.
And I will light a candle for you to shatter all the darkness and bless the times we knew. Like a beacon in the night, the flame will burn bright and guide us on our way. Oh, today I light a candle for you. The seasons come and go, and I'm weary from the change. I keep on moving on, you know it's not the same. And when I'm walking all alone, do you hear me call your name? Do you hear me sing the songs we used to sing? And I will light a candle for you to shatter all the darkness and bless the times we knew. Like a beacon in the night, the flame will burn bright and guide us on our way. Oh, today I light a candle for you. You filled my life with wonder, touched me with surprise. I always saw that something special deep within your eyes. And through the good times and the bad, we carried on with pride. I hold on to the love and life we knew. And I will light a candle for you to shatter all the darkness and bless the times we knew. Like a beacon in the night, the flame will burn bright and guide us on our way. Oh, today I light a candle for you. Oh, today I light a candle for you. For you.
Thank you all so much for being with us today. I'll leave you with these words from poet E. E. Cummings in his poem, I carry you with me. I carry you in my heart. And I know that each and every one of you is carrying your loved one in your heart. And I'm sending love to you and your loved ones in all your hearts. Take care. Thank you.